interested in come to his point of view in this upcoming season?
Yes, yeah, and particularly the forms of the authorities in New York who realise that maybe this old guy's onto something, and but they're still capable of underestimating him, until he has to say that was an attack of about 30 vamps, and they're saying we got rid of them. He said no, there'll be a few thousand more tonight, trust me, and he's right. So I think the credibility issues he has at the end of season 1, having failed to dispatch the Master, he has a lot to claw back in terms of his respectability within the group. I think he's gone down the pecking order a little bit, having got it very, very wrong at the end of season 1, totally underestimating the Master's powers of recovery. And so what's interesting for me is playing a character who is so determined and is such a forceful character, and he knows he's right, even though he has trouble persuading other people that this is what's really happened. After that episode of failing to get rid of the Master, he starts to have self-doubt, and it's always interesting, and it's good writing when you see a side of a character who's not just this guy who's like a 70-odd-year-old action hero. He's capable of having weaknesses, and he starts to doubt himself, and it takes him a lot of time and energy persuading the other members of the group to keep going, because they're starting to say, well, we got it wrong before, maybe we shouldn't take this route, but thankfully Vasily Fett who's slowly becoming his surrogate son, whether he would admit that or not, I suspect not, but he's got this family that he never had around him. He's lived as a loner most of his life, especially after losing his wife, and he spent all his time and energy building up his armory in his basement and making silver weapons just in case the day happened. And all of a sudden now these other people that if someone had told him before it all happened that his greatest ally would be a rat catcher, he just wouldn't say, no way, try again. Yeah. So, and it's the most unlikely alliance in a way, but it's a very fruitful one, I think, because at last he's got someone who'll say, where are we going? Yeah, we're going down this alley where you can't see anything. I'll trust you, I'll come with you. Whereas some of the others are starting to say, maybe not, and they find it different. So the group are kind of together, but in season 2, but they split off into their own little ways of solving the problem. But at least in season 2, there are more people on board who now believe this old guy.
We have time for one more question.
Well, he kind of answered 3 of my questions.
I'm wondering about the book. What can you tell us about the book and how important it is to finding and destroying the Master?
Well, yes, the Oxido Lumen, which has apparently existed for hundreds and hundreds of years. Some people, like Elrich Palmer, he was searching for it at one point, and he gives up because he said it doesn't exist, it's been destroyed, because he'd heard that it had been burned or something in a monastery years before. But Satrakian firmly believes that this book exists, and he's gonna find it, because it's got all the history of the Strigoi from Sardu onwards, and we show this in flashbacks as well. And that he knows that in there are all the answers as to how to get rid of this creature, and so that becomes his main objective. And he's quite ruthless, and he'll even use the ancients in the first episode. I believe it's the first episode of season 2. he formed a kind of unholy alliance with what is essentially the enemy. But and also he contacts and forms an alliance with one of the leading gangsters in New York, what becomes one of the local warlords in the aftermath of this. And so he's not afraid to form alliances with people who he wouldn't normally touch with a barge pole in real life, because if it helps him to get what he wants, in this case this book, and he tracks this book, and he finds evidence that it was in an auction in Marseille in 1860, so he thinks he knows how to get hold of it, and he's quite ruthless in getting it. So I like about him, but he does some badass things, but for a good reason, as he sees it.
Thank you.